The Baskerville family's hound, Vikir Van Baskerville, is falsely charged and framed for associating with the Demon Clan. He was sentenced to death by guillotine. There, he decided, if he gets to live again and catches the rabbit, he will not live as a hound again. As darkness consumes his consciousness, he wakes up to discover himself in a different place. His body feels heavy, and his surroundings are loud. He thinks he must be in hell. In the Baskerville family's grand state, Hugo Baskerville calls the children insignificant and claims that there are no special ones among them. Just then, he notices one of them being quiet. He then orders his men to move the children to the Cradle of Swords. Vikir glares at Hugo, the man who framed and executed him. Seeing Hugo younger than he remembers, Vikir concludes that he regressed as a baby. He lived as a hound who devoted everything to his mission, doing all kinds of dirty work to make the Baskerville family the best among the 7 families. Vikir only stayed loyal because he wanted to be acknowledged by Hugo. 10 years after the gate to the demonic realm opened, humanity won against the demons, and the rewards were given to the loyal hound of the Baskervilles. However, he was executed. The reason was that he knew too much, and he wouldn't live that life again. Right now, Vikir can't do anything as a baby, but being moved to the Cradle of Swords is an opportunity for him to get stronger. The Cradle of Swords is a maze for babies to go through. After that, they will be in the River Styx, where the water turns their bodies to iron. But that doesn't apply to everyone. In order to reach it, they need to get past the helix-shaped wall of blades. Last time, Vikir was ousted by his siblings, but it will be different this time. The adults were surprised to see Vikir monopolize the river. He falls deep, and the water seeps into his body and bones through his wounds. It is painful, but he needs to endure it. The butlers are worried that he will drown. Hugo laughs as he watches Vikir. The head butler, John Barrymore, reports that it has been 7 minutes since Vikir went into the river. Hugo thinks Vikir might die, and he calls out for his son to come out. However, Vikir ignores him and absorbs as much water as he can. He runs out of air to breathe, but he still tries to endure it. Just then, Hugo pulls him out of the water and notices that he has a set of teeth already. He claims that a very greedy son has been born. Vikir tells him to enjoy as much as he can while he sharpens his canine. He swears to destroy the Baskerville family with his own hands. Vikir was talented enough to be called a genius, but he is considered ordinary in his family. At 20, he took on different dirty jobs. At 29, he reached his limit in swordsmanship. At 30, demons appear. At 35, he survived by slaughtering demons left and right. At 39, humanity won, and he gets rewarded at the age of 40. However, the rewards are defamation, accusation, and the guillotine's blade. Baby Vikir wakes up and realizes that he has successfully absorbed the water in the Styx River. Just then, a woman arrives with a box and complains about why her madam ordered her to bring it to Vikir's bed. She left it with Vikir, and something came out of it. Bloody mambas came out of the box to attack Vikir. Vikir knows this is an assassination and wonders who the madam is among a few of the ones he knows. The snakes try to attack Vikir. However, he is strong enough to grab both of them and grip them until they die. The next day, people are shocked to witness Vikir sleeping soundly with 2 poisonous snakes beside him. All nannies during that shift were tortured and executed, but no information was gouged out of them. Only Vikir knows the truth. 8 years later, the sons of Hugo are partaking in a lesson. The instructor informs them that they will be learning about the levels of swordsmanship. The levels are scaled from beginner, expert, graduate, and master. Hugo is currently the only swordmaster in Baskerville. Hearing that, Vikir realizes that he needs to regain his power before his coming-of-age ceremony. The instructor can see Vikir lost in his thoughts again. However, he knows how talented Vikir is for his age. He thinks Hugo will be happy about Vikir's progress. The son, on the other hand, wonders how he can kill his father. A set of triplets suddenly glares at him. They later call him Garbage Van and confront him. They want to confirm Vikir's past from when they were babies. Vikir knows them too well from his past life. They are called the Baskerville Trident, namely Highborough, Middleborough, and Lowborough. They are insisting that rumors about Vikir holding out 7 minutes in River Styx are untrue. Vikir realizes it is better to put these 3 down as early as he can. Highborough then suggests stabbing Vikir to test his body. Lowborough grabs Vikir and covers his mouth and nose while claiming that he will eat his hand if it is true. Vikir plans to play along a bit. The brothers are sure that the legend is not true. 10 minutes later, they are shocked to see that it is indeed true. High Burrow and Middle Burrow tell Low Burrow to let Vikir go. However, Vikir suddenly bites off one of Low Burrow's fingers. Vikir then reminds Low Burrow, swearing to eat his hand. The brothers claim they are not scared, except for Low Burrow, who is hurting. They plan to leave to get a priest, but Vikir tells them that they can't. High Burrow gets mad and stabs Vikir with his knife. The knife didn't cut Vikir's skin. Vikir then apprehends High Burrow. He asks them to play until the end. High Burrow can't believe the rumors are true and gets punched in the face. The other two see their brother fall. Middle Burrow tries to fight, but Vikir immediately knocks him out. Vikir tells them not to be scared because they'll get better soon, but he can only let one of them leave for now. Vikir tells them to decide for themselves and throws the knife back at them. He menacingly tells them to hurry and that he should at least live among them. The triplets look at each other. Vikir listens to them from outside the door. Later, John reports that the Moore clan is claiming the ruby mine as their territory. Hugo knows that the Moore clan will approach them first. He asks for another report and hears about Vikir's achievement in the written exam. John reports that the physical exam will be in 5 days. He adds that there is also a big fight among the young masters. The Trident brothers are injured but are currently being treated after Vikir wounded them all. Hugo gets surprised. Vikir is then called by Hugo, and the kid greets his father cheerfully. Hugo asks about how Vikir disabled the 3 brothers, not physically, but in their hearts. The 3 are now acting separately, and the relationship is completely torn apart. Vikir smiles and wonders what he did wrong. Hugo points out that Vikir turned his brothers into a total mess. Vikir then claims that he is stronger and shouldn't be wrong. Hugo claims the brothers forgave Vikir and can't believe that he doesn't feel an ounce of guilt. Vikir recalls a nun from a ruined family, telling Hugo that she forgives him and offers a mass. However, Hugo responds menacingly, and Vikir uses that line this time. Forgiveness is made by the weak, who can't seek revenge because they are weak. Hugo smiles at hearing and seeing a like-minded individual. He claims Vikir knows the family motto very well. Hugo then orders John to let Vikir eat any snacks he wants from the storage. Vikir happily thanks his father. As Vikir leaves, Hugo tells his son to do well in the interim evaluation. He wants Vikir to win against the direct descendants. Vikir feels chills down his spine and confirms that it is so. At the food storage, Vikir asks for unprocessed chocolate. He wants cocoa beans that have a rich aroma. John wonders why Vikir needs the beans. Vikir immediately got the bloody beans, which can produce 100 liters of chocolate from one bean alone. Seeing Vikir bite the bitter bean, John thinks Vikir really loves chocolates and has found a way to create many chocolates that he wants. The chef offers help processing it, but Vikir wants to bring it out as is. John is worried about his young master's taste. However, Vikir did not want to eat chocolate. He will use the bloody beans during the practical exam. Vikir smiles as he claims that a never-before-seen catastrophe will happen to the Baskerville clan. Later, Vikir meets a hellhound. He barely defeated one at the age of 18 in his past life. As an 8-year-old kid, it seems impossible to defeat it. However, Vikir knows a way to defeat it. He then leaps forward to attack the hellhound. Its first weakness is that it can only move in straight lines and has difficulty suddenly changing directions. Its second weakness is that it avoids any form of water, and it slows down significantly. The hellhound caught up to Vikir. Vikir uses this chance to throw something at its mouth, which it dodges. He checks on the hellhound, which later feels something and goes down. Chocolate is poisonous to dogs. One bloody bean with a high concentration of chocolate is enough to take down a canine monster. Vikir then unsheathes his sword and stabs its kidney. He looks at the hellhound and pulls out his sword. He gains karma from the hellhound, which can make him stronger. The sword feels lighter for Vikir now. He wonders how Hugo will react to Vikir killing a B+ ranked monster. Vikir basically secured the first position and had already decided on the reward. He wants to take a certain book that no one knew from this era. Just then, more hellhounds appear, and Vikir can see that they are out for revenge for their kind. However, Vikir didn't plan just to kill one, and he planned to kill more. His menacing gaze is enough to scare the hellhounds. Vikir is confused and surprised to see the hellhound scared of an 8-year-old kid. Vikir realizes something and looks behind him. A different canine monster appears. It is a Cerberus. Vikir wonders what the A+ monster is doing outside its habitat. He notices that it is bleeding and that multiple arrows are stuck in its body. He recalls a barbarian tribe across the mountain. Vikir finds this as a chance to kill an A+ ranked monster. Vikir has been hiding the fact that he is already a sword expert and has mastered the Baskerville third technique. He has already reached the level of an adult hound. Vikir attacks the injured Cerberus because he thinks that killing it is doable. Before his regression, he had already refined his swordsmanship. His strengthened body and weapons are working against Cerberus. However, Cerberus fights back and claws Vikir. Vikir is thrown aside and hits a tree. Vikir is clearly injured. He becomes unconscious, but immediately wakes up. Cerberus menacingly approaches him. Vikir can feel his arm in pain and wonders if it got ripped out. He sees that he was only wounded. He knows an injured Cerberus is still strong, but thanks to the effects of the river Styx, Vikir survived. He immediately dodges an attack and thinks that he can take a second hit. An experienced hunter can find the best way out of this kind of situation. The best decision right now is to run away and escape. Vikir thanks the barbarian tribe for injuring Cerberus. He runs towards the iron fence so he can get out of the restricted area. He plans to get to a specific place as he jumps over the fence. Cerberus busts through the iron fence. Vikir looks around as he runs and finally finds something. He runs as much as he can while Cerberus is behind him. He leaps from the ground, and Cerberus steps on something, surprising the monster. Vikir tumbles down and checks on the monster. He welcomes Cerberus into the cradle of swords. He didn't expect to use a trap he prepared for hellhounds to capture a Cerberus. Being the same species as the hellhound, the bloody bean essence on the spears on the trap will act as poison too. The remaining Cerberus had growled, and Vikir did not expect the high-ranking monster to go down that easily. He throws a spear towards Cerberus, and it roars in pain. Vikir starts counting as the monster slowly walks towards him. The Cerberus manages to reach Vikir, but it falls down because of poisoning. Vikir sighs with relief, and now believes that the rumors are true. The spear he just tossed is laced with the poison of a bloody mamba that won't let you walk more than 7 steps. He can now feel the energy of Cerberus seeping into his body. He wonders how he can bring it back. He plans to have the guardian warrior who saw him carve the wooden spear be his witness. However, there is still something else that he needs to do. He recalls Cerberus' role as a guardian of a dungeon, and one must be nearby. A dungeon is a mysterious place that contains treasures and powerful monsters. The gatekeeper is now dead, and the dungeon should be empty now. Vikir spread its feces on his body to avoid battling small monsters. He looks for Cerberus traces and follows them. Vikir arrives at the dungeon entrance that Cerberus was guarding. He recalls coming to this specific dungeon before his regression. It should be discovered in another 10 years, but it will be empty. However, right now, Vikir can sense the mana that is underneath the rotten surface, meaning it hasn't been cleared yet. Seeing that it doesn't have a light, it must be deep. Vikir smiles as he wonders what treasures are waiting inside. Will Vikir be able to clear the dungeon and gain treasure? Comment down below if you want to watch the next part. See ya!